That's all.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Sean's
Good morning,
eating. Good morning,
everybody.
Sean.
Good. Eat an apple.
Good morning, Christy. Turn on your cameras, everybody. Come on, you can turn on your cameras. Look, I haven't even had a shower yet. Look at me. It doesn't matter.
As Jeff always says, though, if you're in the shower, you can leave it off.
If you're in the shower, leave it off. If you're driving, be safe. But otherwise, turn them on.
Other than that, turn them on. If you don't have your camera on, we're going to assume you're in the shower.
Recording in progress.
And if I can be on with the red eye this morning,
What'd you say, Lee?
if I can be on with a red eye this morning, I don't know. It's like somebody poked me in the eye.
You
yesterday,
can't really sell it too much.
That fight with your wife, man. What happened?
I think she poked me in the eye last night.
Fletcher, Indianapolis. Good to see you, man. How you doing?
Doing well, Jeff. Thanks for the invite.
Yeah, for sure. It's good to have you here.
Yeah.
So, Mary, I haven't seen you for a long time. Good morning, Mary. How are you?
I'm good. How are
Good
you?
to see you. I'm doing good. Doing good. So Sterling up there in Northern Colorado. Tina. It's good to see Tina. Brian Decker. Hello, everybody. So, guys,
Down there in
quick,
Houston.
what's that?
I said, good to see Miss Cindy in Houston.
There you go. Absolutely. So, guys, good to have everybody here. Just a reminder, we do this every Tuesday, open to everybody. You're always welcome to invite people, whatever, different topics, different things. I'm going to let Kathy take this one over. She invited Lee to come in here today, a program that a lot of us have used. Some of us have used, some of us have never used it. You've seen the signs around. We haven't seen much of this the last few years, but it's definitely making a comeback. There's lots of ways you can set yourself apart and get people calling you. And this program we're going to talk about is a great way to do that. Definitely get the phone ringing. So anyway, Kathy, why don't you go ahead and take it?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, yeah. Welcome everybody. I'm so excited to have Lee today share with us. It's going to be a unique training that a lot of y'all probably haven't heard. But before, I'll let him tell what he wants about himself. But I just want to share a little bit about Lee. Just so you understand who you're learning from today. People like Lee, we pay lots of money to learn from. I mean, he is the number one team. His team is number one team in all of Mississippi. They've sold over 10,000 houses. I was telling him, I was like, I don't know I've ever known an agent that has sold over 10,000. I mean, Kinder might have been close to that. Jay Kinder, for those of you who know him, but they've done over $1 billion with the B dollars worth of real estate. I mean, I could go on and on and on, but this is the type person, like I said, you pay a lot of money to get coached from. So you, are blessed if you're on here today, and I'm excited about the topic that he's going to share. So Lee, I'm going to let you take it away, and you can add anything about yourself that you would like to, and you should be able to roll. You've got the screen to be able to share if you need to.
Okay. Thanks for having me, Kathy. And it's kind of cool to be on here and see some of the faces as part of our organization and all. And I'm excited to be able to talk with everyone today. The topic I'm going to be talking about, and I'm going to share my screen. So I did actually put together it's a presentation I've shown before, but I'm going to share my screen so that you can follow along if I figure out how to start my slideshow. Where in the world is that? From beginning. There we go.
There you go.
And this is true. I mean, I've been in the real estate business for 26 years. Matter of fact, I can remember 26 years ago in August when I got my license, all of my friends said, Lee, you'll never make it in the real estate business. You'll never make it. They thought I didn't like people. The truth is I was shy. I was afraid to stick my hand out and say, hi, I'm Lee Garland, much less ask for somebody's business. And but I had a strong work ethic, and I was pretty good at ripping off and duplicating what other people were doing. First year in the business, sold 32 houses, and I thought, oh, that's pretty easy and all. But I got stuck, and I couldn't break that 100 transaction a year mark. And I can remember Craig Proctor talking about, oh, you should guarantee the sale of the houses. That'll get you over 100 transactions a year. I was scared. I was scared to death. I'm like, I can't even buy a house, much less guarantee the sale of a house. And so I did this spin on it where if I didn't sell your house, I would reduce my commission or something like that. Well, back in 2013, I was booking around 80, 90 transactions a year, and all of a sudden I went to this event and I met some people. Some of you may know some of these names. I met Jay Kinder and Jeff Willems and Andrew Duncan and Danny Burks and some of these names of people, and they were doing hundreds and hundreds of transactions a year. And the one thing they had in common was they were offering a guaranteed sale. And if they didn't sell it, they would buy it. And I'm like, well, dang. If Danny Burks over in Tyler, Texas, with a market of less than 90,000 people, can do 400 sales in a year, and that's what took him there, I need to get with the program. And so I changed my mindset. I went from being scared and a non-believer to a believer, and just I'm jumping in head first. And sure enough, 12 months from the date I started offering it, I went from 90 transactions to 130 transactions in a year. And I'm like, well, I guess that worked. And next thing you know, I'm at 200 and 300 and 400 and 500 plus transactions a year. And I credit all that, one, to hanging around the right people, right? I mean, we all know that if you hang around the right people, sooner or later, it's going to rub off. Also, though, if you hang around the wrong people, you're going to have the same result. So I started hanging around the right people. I started having belief, and I started building my business to what it was going to be and not what it was today or at that time. And so breaking 100 transactions a year, what does that look like? I know the last couple of years since COVID, I mean, anybody can sell a house, right? You get your license and your friend says, hey, sell my house. And that's what happens. I think that's going to change. I think that's going to change because right now, matter of fact, NAR even put out a statistic the other day that they expect to lose 30% of their membership within the next year because the market's changing. And as the market changes and houses become, the market slows, houses are still going to sell. It's, I'm not doom and gloom, but people might want some assurance that if their house doesn't sell in the time frame they want, they have options. And so we're going to talk about that today. Kathy went over a little bit about me, and I've got 10,000 plus closed transactions under my belt, but I've been around a long time. 1996, I got my license, and I've, you can't buy groceries with any of those accolades at the store, but I'm going to talk to you today about my two favorite unique seller propositions. And I'm going to take some time at the end and ask, and we're going to go over some questions and stuff. So y'all bear with me. I might jump around a little bit. But my two favorite unique seller propositions are the Buy It Now program, the cash offer. Some people call it an iBuyer, and the guaranteed sale. And that's basically, if I don't sell your house, I'll buy it. And with these two programs, and the iBuyer program has worked significantly better over the last couple of years than the guaranteed sale, because people, they don't need a guaranteed sale. The house is going to sell, right? But the reasons you should offer these programs is because some sellers on the iBuyer, Buy It Now, they want convenience more than they do money. 2 years ago, I bought 33 houses. Bought 33 houses. Now think about that now. I bought 33 houses in a year 2 years ago in one of the hottest markets in the US has ever seen. The houses were going to sell, but sellers still chose to sell them to me for a discounted price because they wanted the convenience. Now, guess what I did with those 33 houses? I turned them into rentals. I created a different stream of revenue. Some of you here in the EXP, you know what I'm talking about. Multiple streams of income. I created a different stream of revenue by offering this program. Hedge funds are doing it. OfferPad's doing it. Open Doors doing it. Home Light, Simple Sales doing it. And as Ricky Bobby says, if you're not first, you're last. So if you're not offering one of these programs, somebody else is, which means they're getting to that consumer before you. If you want to increase your listing inventory, you want to increase the leads coming into your office, you need to be different. You need to offer something that gives the seller a reason to call you. They're not going to call you because you put up your finger and say, I'm number one. I'm the best realtor in the market. They're not going to call you for that. Sellers want options. They want somebody that's going to get them the most money. But, you know, you bragging about yourself is not going to make the phone ring enough. And of course, these programs offer a way to build wealth. And if you were a seller, who would you call? Would you call the agent who offers you multiple options, or just the same old, same old? The instant offer, buy it now, is the fastest, most convenient way to the closing for a seller out there. They skip the hassle of all of the countless showings and inspections, having to go through appraisals, worried about repairs, and whether or not the buyer even finalizes the loan. That's the benefit of the iBuyer program. There's a lot of people say, well, you know, what's the catch? The seller's like, what's the catch? Are you going to pay me pennies on the dollar for my home? Just give me your offer. Those are common objections that sellers give. And we're going to, toward the end of this, we're going to talk about scripting to set more appointments and to overcome those objections. But I really want you to understand how to structure this program so that you can do more than 100 transactions a year. Some of you in here are probably already doing that, so I might be preaching to the choir. But if you're not doing 100, 200, 300, 400 transactions a year, this will make a difference in your business. It'll absolutely make a difference in your business. I'm living proof. I'm a guy from a small town in Mississippi that my friends said I wouldn't make it. And this program changed my life, changed my business. Now, as an agent, here's the most common objections I hear. Oh, I'm scared. That was my objection. What if I buy it and can't get it sold? What if I'm holding on to this house? If I bought this house and I can't get it sold? Or the truth is, a lot of us thought, well, I thought, I can't even afford to buy the property. How can I even offer this program? Well, I got some solutions for you. One is, maybe you're strong enough to go to the bank and get a line of credit. Maybe, so that you can offer the program. Please don't, hear me here. Let me stop real quick. Don't offer a program you can't back up. Otherwise, that will destroy your career. Absolutely. You don't want to be known as the guy that can't back it up. So if you're going to offer this, make sure you can back it up. And I'm about to teach you some ways to be where you can offer it and it not come out of your own pocket. You can go to the bank, get a line of credit. Like, that's your own money, right? Or you can go find you a hard money lender to help back it up. I bet a lot of you have investors in your very own market that would love to buy a house at 70 and 80 cents on the dollar. And just so you know, these numbers, you think, well, there's no seller out there that will take $100,000 less for their house. And I'm not saying offer them 100 less, but I'm just going to tell you, I just bought a house. Literally, I was standing in it yesterday with the heating and cooling guy, putting a new thermostat on it. Bought the house. The house was worth and I'm in Mississippi, y'all, so I don't have California prices. The house was worth $240,000. Seller told me he didn't want to fool with marketing, didn't want people coming in and out of the house. And I told him what it's worth. I said, look, your house is worth $240,000. He says, I don't want to deal with all that, Lee. I called you because you said you would give me an offer on it and you would buy it outright. I said, his name's Parrish. I said, Parrish, that's right. I said, what do you want for it? This is what it's worth. What do you want for it? He said, you give me $150,000, it's yours today. So I bought a $240,000 house for $150,000. Now, I got a feeling everybody on this call has an investor in their market that would like that same deal. I bought 33 2 years ago that wanted that same deal. I bet you can find investors in your market. You want to increase your buyer pool? Go out there and find you some investors and say, hey, look, I'm about to offer this program and you can reap the benefits of it. Let's make a deal. If you don't have any local investors, give me a call. Out of state, I know some people that love to invest in your market. And you know, what if you can't get the house? And you know, if you do buy a house, what's really at risk? Did you buy a $300,000 house? Is that what's really at risk? No. You bought the house. Let's say you bought it for $300,000 and you had to sell it for $270,000. What you had at risk was 30 grand. That's what you lost. Now, I've one time in my career, I've lost 30 grand. And that was when I bought a house, sight unseen. And well, learned a lesson there. Look at everything you buy. But anyway, these are some solutions to help you put this program in place. There's some things you need to consider. You really need to know your numbers here. We're going to jump into that. As an agent, you need to disclose the retail value. Don't mislead people because you don't want to be known as that shady agent in your market taking advantage of people. So disclose the retail value. You have a license, you're a realtor. Make sure you do it. Don't box yourself in with these programs. You know, we're going to talk about how not to do that. Use the proper forms. And the best thing you can do, well, two best things you can do, get some testimonials from your happy clients, but buy one ASAP. Buy one ASAP. And then post it all over social media, anywhere you can advertise it because that gives your program credibility. And of course, make sure you close without hiccups. You don't want to be that buyer. You don't want to be that buyer that has to delay things over and over and over and over. That creates problems. So y'all ready to get into some numbers here and understand some numbers, how to structure this so that you don't go to the poorhouse. So if you were going to do an instant offer program, you need to, and we're going to assume you're going to flip this property, not hold it. I believe you should hold a lot of property. You should have a lot of rentals in your portfolio, but that's a story for another day. So let's look at the numbers here. So assuming you're going to flip this property, what you need to do is look at the property and what does the property comp at in its as is condition, as it sits today. And God, it really drives me crazy. Agents talk about, well, the comps are this and the comps that. Well, a comp, remember, a comp is if a house has Formica countertops and then the next house has granite countertops, is that really a comp? If it's 500, 1,000 square feet bigger, is that a comp? No, no. If it needs lots of repair, is it a comp? No. Compare the houses to other comparable properties. So you need to look at it. What is the comparable price in as-is condition? Once you figure that out, then you need to start deducting these things. These are the numbers. You need to deduct a listing and buyer side commission because if the seller lists the house, what are they going to pay anyway? They're going to pay a buyer and seller side commission. You're actually running two different businesses right here. You're running an investment business and you're running a sales business. So you need to make sure that you put assets or that you monetize both of those. So your as-is value, deduct the listing and buyer side commission. Seller's going to pay it anyway. You've got closing cost when you buy the house, you've got closing cost the first time. Now, when you flip it, what are you going to have? You're going to have more closing costs. You're going to have two sets of closing costs. So first, though, we're going to, as is condition, we're going to deduct a listing and buy side commission. We're going to deduct our first set of closing costs, and then we're going to look at our holding cost. And if it's an FHA type property, you may have to hold that sucker 90 days before you can sell it under the FHA flipping rule. So plan for a minimum of a 4-month hold, and holding costs, taxes, insurance, lawn care, interest on your money, market times, renovation times. You need to figure all of this in to your cost. And then you've got to deduct what you want your desired profit to be. My rule of thumb is if I can't make $20,000 on a house, I'm not doing it. 20% or $20,000, whichever's greater. You need to find your own threshold. But those are the things that I'm deducting from that as is value, because I'm not buying this house to live in it. I'm buying it to make money. And I tell the seller, hey, look, I'm going to offer you the most convenient product out there. You're not going to have to worry about inspections. You're not going to have to worry about repairs. You're not going to have to worry about hundreds of people running through your house. I'm going to buy your house, but I'm not buying it to live in it. I'm buying it to make a profit, a modest profit. Most every other investor out there is probably going to want to make 50, 60 cents on the dollar, or make 50 cents on every dollar they spend. I just want to make 20%. Then I jump into it. Now what, now what you do, you've got that figured out. Now you need to figure out, what does the property comp at in prime retail condition? Because if I'm going to buy a property and flip it, my name's attached to it. And I want to be known as the guy that does it right, class act. So when I flip that property, it's going to be done right. It's going to be perfect. I'm going to maximize my dollar. So I'm going to look at the retail condition. I'm going to deduct the following things from retail price: the listing and buyer side commission. And this is the second time you're going to pay this, because you're running two businesses, your sales business and your investment business. So deduct the listing and buyer side commission, closing costs for the second time, any loss of any homestead or tax credits, the renovation cost, the acquisition cost of the property. That was the number we figured out just screen prior. And that tells you what your true profit is before capital gains. So you got to figure out your as is minus the cost of acquiring, and then your retail price minus those commissions and the closing cost and any credits that you have to give and renovation. And there's your number. There's your true profit on your purchase of this property. Now, if y'all decide, some of you decide, hey, I want to do this, I want to talk, but I don't want to fund this myself. I want some investors I've got some investors locally, and you need somebody to help you go through this. I'm going to give y'all my email address, and y'all reach out to me, and I'll be glad to help you with this. Somebody helped me with this. I want to help you with this, because that's what being around the right people is all about. It's helping each other. So I'm going to recap the numbers real quick so that they make sense. Figure your prime retail sales price and deduct the following: commissions times 2, closing costs times 2, loss of any homestead tax credits, holding costs, remember minimum of 4 months. If your average market time there is 6 months or 7 months, as the market shifts, you need to figure that in. Minimum desired profit, flat fee or percentage, your renovation cost, and what's left is the amount you can afford to pay for the property. So what I figured over the years as I've done this is it typically comes in about 35%, with the exception of renovations. That's where it typically comes in for me to be able to make a deal work. So if the retail price is, let's say, $200,000, $500,000, deduct, 65% of that is about what you can pay for a property and make the numbers work. All right. Now, I just got through talking about the iBuyer, the instant offer program. If you're going to offer something like this, I think you need to throw a guaranteed sale program in on top of it. Because, and when we get to scripting, you're going to see why. I'm kind of holding the best for last. This is what's going to make your phone ring. But so you got your iBuyer program for those sellers looking for convenience. And the guaranteed sale program is for those sellers looking for assurance. They want to know if they list their property with you, that if it doesn't sell to a regular buyer, that they still can do what they want to do with their life and move to that next chapter. So the guaranteed sale program gives them the assurance. The benefits to this, the guaranteed sale program has seller benefits. We're going to talk about the scripting, but the big benefit to the seller here is the seller has the opportunity to make more on the sale of their property through marketing, because that's what we're going to do. We're going to market it. We're going to attempt to get them the most money possible while still having the assurance that if it does not sell, that you're going to buy it, or your partner that you set up with an investor is going to buy it at a predetermined price. Now, in my world, my sellers get the advantage of I'm willing to buy it at 95% of the list price. And how that works is the way we set that up, the list price, they have to agree to list it at a price that reflects the average sold price per square foot of at least 4 comparable properties within the immediate neighborhood. Now, I don't go and get a property appraised. I feel like I've done this long enough. My team has been trained well enough. They should be able to price a home without having an appraisal. So what we're looking for is we're going to look over in the immediate neighborhood for 4 comparable properties that have sold in the last 6 months. We're going to build in a 5% price reduction on day number 14 of that listing period. And this is what our guarantee net is based on. We're guaranteeing their net, not actually their sell price. And under a traditional sale, any other sale, the seller's going to say, the seller's still going to have to pay for commission. They're still going to have a commission. They're still going to have normal closing costs, normal repairs, customary seller cost involved in sale. So I'm going to buy it at 95% minus these things, plus I'm going to get to it in another slide here, but plus the seller's taking advantage of a premium product. So I'm buying it at 95% of list price, the original list price. They're still paying me a commission. They're still paying normal closing costs. They're still paying for any repairs, but this is a premium product. So I have a 3% underwriting fee. I'm charging them an extra, 3.5%. I'm charging them an extra 3.5% to use this premium product. So that's how my numbers work when I'm doing that. So when you're looking at comparable sold properties, this is what you're looking. These are the comparable property guidelines. I'm looking at solds within the last 6 months. Has to have equal numbers of bedrooms and baths. All of you know that a 2-bedroom doesn't sell the same as a 4-bedroom. They have to have similar amenities. I'm looking at a 500 plus or minus square footage swing and 5 plus or minus years in age, excluding new construction that has not been lived in. These are the parameters that you need to manipulate to make your program work for your market. This works in my market. It may not work in yours, and you'll have to manipulate it. If you want help with that, let me know. We'll talk through it. I'll be glad to help you with it. I have some terms. Again, regular commission. And by the way, I get 1.5% more than the average agent in my market, just on my normal rate that I charge. But I have an underwriting fee or premium commission that I charge for participating in this program. I get to control the pricing. These are the terms of our listing agreement. I get to control the pricing after 14 days. Seller will always get their guaranteed net that I promised them when we listed it. But if I want to make a business decision and I want to, and we get let's say the house is $300,000. That's the guaranteed net. I guarantee $300,000 to the seller. But I get an offer in that's for $295, a net of $295. I have the ability to pony up and make up the $5,000 difference if it's a good marketing decision for me. What if I don't want to take that property into inventory? What if the person buying it's a high profile person, or the person selling it's a high profile person, and I think I can get some leverage off of them bragging or talking about, hey, Lee bought our house, or Lee got our house sold. And so it may be worth me spending $5,000 or losing $5,000 for that marketing advantage. So I have control. And basically, if we get an offer on the seller's house that is equal to that guaranteed net or more, the seller has to take that offer. And if it's less, I have the ability to make it up. And I have made it up for marketing purposes. And if the seller says, no, I'm not going to take that. Well, you did your job. You brought to the table that amount that the seller said they wanted. You brought it to the table and the seller said no. At that point, you've done your job. The guarantee becomes void. You still go through the listing. It still sells. You still get your premium commission. And everything's great. The seller just chose not to take it. They decided they wanted to gamble. It's because they felt good about the activity they had. Maybe they want to gamble for more money now. That's okay. You did your job. But so make sure you have that condition in there, because some sellers you'll meet their net and they'll say, no, I want to wait another 3 weeks or another month before we take that. No, I just performed. Pay me. Otherwise, the guarantee is void. By the way, your purchase should be contingent upon satisfactory inspections conducted, whatever time frame you want, from the execution of the listing agreement. Make sure you know what you're buying under the guaranteed offer, because at 95%, you need to know. Under the iBuyer program, Buy It Now, you're already figuring that in. Right. I have a qualification on the properties that I buy. They must be site-built single-family homes with a minimum of 3 bedrooms. I don't like dealing with 2-bedroom homes or 1-bedroom homes. I don't like dealing with condos. I don't like dealing with manufactured homes. If I'm going to guarantee the sale, it has to be a minimum of 3 bedrooms and it has to be a single family home. It cannot have any current or past environmental or structural issues. This includes flood, drugs, foundation problems. Those stigmas attached to the property could make it very difficult to sell in the future. It needs to be sitting on less than an acre with public sewer. In Mississippi, we've found that most properties that have 2 acres or more have a treatment or septic system, and they have to go through a bunch of inspections. And sometimes if you have to replace those units, you're looking at $4, $5, $6, $10,000 in order to get that upgraded. I'm not going to guarantee upon speculation. And I don't like busy streets. If you got to back your car out into a busy street, that's not a property that I want to buy. And I mean, you've all seen them. Those properties on very busy streets sometimes sit on the market longer and sell for less. So in order for a property to qualify for my program, my guaranteed sale program, it has to meet this criteria. There are some cautions I want to put out there for you. Make sure all of your listing documents and disclosures are fully completed before an offer or guaranteed sell amount is given and confirmed. Because especially the disclosures, they start filling out that disclosure and they remember something that they didn't tell you that you based your offer on, and now you find out the air condition doesn't work. That might be $6,500 out of your pocket. So make sure that all the documents are completed, the disclosures are completed. If you give an offer prior to this, prior to them signing the paperwork, you're probably not going to get the listing. So make sure you get the listing paperwork signed before you give them their offer. Safeguard number 2, if a condition of the property changes or a non-disclosed material defect is discovered that was not disclosed prior, you have the ability to void the contract. You're just like any other buyer out there. The seller should deliver to you what was promised in the condition it was promised. So if there's a change, you should have the same rights of any other buyer. Another safeguard, listing and contract language. You need to make sure you have that together. I have some of that I'm willing to share. I'm going to make a disclaimer. I'm not going to share it just openly, but if you want it, reach out to me. My disclaimer is I had my attorney look at this and approve it for my area. You probably should have yours look at it and approve it for you and your state broker as well. Your broker needs to approve it. I went to my broker and said, hey, Mark, this is what I'm doing. And he had a slight modification to one of them, but we were all good. Use in your listing paperwork, you're going to need them to initial whether or not they want to participate in the guaranteed sale, and they want to participate or whether or not they want a instant offer from the point they list. You need them to initial that they want it or they don't. If they don't initial it, if you don't have that in there, I promise you, you're going to get 3 months into a listing and somebody's going to say, well, you said you were going to buy our house. That's what your marketing has on it. Yeah, you're in trouble at that point. You need to prove that they opted in or out of your program. You need to put in there that you, as the buyer, intend to profit upon purchasing their property. You need to put your close date in there and have that initial. Leave no blanks. Everything needs everything you do in your contracts needs to have some sort of mark on it, whether it's the NA for not applicable or a date. Everything in there has to be applicable. So we're going to jump into some scripts. How am I doing on time? Am I okay on time?
You're good. We've got about 20 minutes, 22 minutes.
All right. I've been talking fast. I normally, I am from Mississippi, so I talk a little slow sometimes, but I've been talking fast because I have a ton of stuff to cover in here. And I wanted to make sure I got it out. And
Lee,
yeah.
I am from Mississippi. I am just wondering, are you part of the Garland family from Crystal Springs?
I get that all of the time. And apparently I need to be, because a lot of people know them, but no, I'm not.
Okay, I just wondered. Thanks.
Sure.
You're doing good. You're doing great, Lee. Keep on.
All right. So here's the scripting for setting the most appointments and overcoming the objections when tying both of these programs together. Remember, I told you, you can run these programs separately, but if you want to set the most appointments, take the most listings, you need to tie both of these programs together. So y'all want to know about the scripting, how to make this work? So I did this late last night. So putting the scripting on the screen. So it may have some grammatical errors in it. So don't hold that against me. So a lot of times that caller is going to call and say, hey, I'm calling to get a cash offer on my home, because you've been marketing this all over the place. And you're basically going to say, fantastic. Would love to help you with that. Can I get some details about your property, such as the age, bedrooms, and baths? You know, just like you do any other listing call, right? But you need to make sure you do this next. Start the conversation getting about their property, be excited about it, but you need to ask this question. These two questions. By the way, where are you moving to? Let them talk. Wherever they're moving to, congratulations. Is that due to a job transfer, family, or something else? Let them talk. These two questions right here help you combat a major objection that's coming down the road. And that major objection is going to be, well, I don't want to list. I just want an offer on my house today. I just want to know what you'll pay me for it. And if you have these two questions answered, where are you moving to? And is it due to a job transfer, family, or something else? Then you're able to roll right into, oh, so you took a job transfer, but you don't, you know, and if you don't like my offer, what are you going to do? Well, I don't know. I just want your offer. Well, it tells you they're selling their house. They took a job transfer. They're selling, or they're moving to be closer to the grandkids. You know their motivation at this point, and so you can overcome the objections that are going to come next. So fantastic. Love to help. Get some details on the property. By the way, where are you moving to? Congratulations. Is that due to a job transfer, family, or something else? How soon do you need this to happen? Okay, I understand. Do you mind if I tell you how our program works? And this is where it gets good. They're going to say, well, sure. Because you've played right along with them, they're going to say, well, sure. And you say, you see, we pride ourselves in giving seller options. Those options include the ability to get top dollar using our aggressive marketing systems, exposing your property to more buyers than other agents. We also have the option of convenience, which is what you're calling about, allowing you to skip the hassles of inspections, contingencies, appraisals, repairs, and a bunch of random strangers walking through your property, where Lee will buy your home outright. And then we also have the option of assurance. By the way, when Lee buys your home outright, you know he's not living in it. He's buying it to make a profit. So the option of convenience, getting that instant offer, you know you're probably going to take less for that because Lee's going to want to make a little money. Well, if you just needed the assurance that your house was going to sell, we have a program for that as well. That's where Lee will guarantee the sale of your home for 95% of its list price. And if it doesn't sell, he will buy it for that predetermined price. So what's more important to you, Kathy? Convenience, assurance, or top dollar?
I'll take the assurance.
I love that answer because that answer just made me 3.5% more in commission. I love that answer. I'm going to sell it anyway. I'm not going to buy it. I mean, if you price a house right in this market or any market, it's going to sell. So when you roll through this script and you offer both of these programs together along with your, please don't call it your traditional marketing plan, because you're not like everybody else. You're in a group right now of people who are getting things done, making it happen. You've got an aggressive marketing plan that exposes property to more buyers than other agents, and you're going to work harder to get their property sold. So I'm giving them 3 options. Why in the world would they call anybody else? They can use my aggressive marketing, they can opt for convenience, or they can be assured that their house is sold no matter what. And I told you there's an objection that comes down the line. I don't want to list, I just want your offer. So let me understand, you don't want to list, but you do want to sell. your job transfer, right? Remember, we asked questions on the front end. When do you have to report for that job transfer? Are you just gonna keep your house as rental? If you don't sell, are you gonna be able to get closer to the grandkids? You already know how to answer this question because you answered it on the front end. So, no, I just want investor offers. That's all I want. Well, what happens if an investor offer doesn't meet your need? Are you not going to move to the grandkids? You know the answer. Well, we don't want to list, and you will run into this. We don't want to list, and these people really don't have any motivation. They don't have a job transfer. They're not moving closer to family, or they're not downsizing. They just really just want an offer on their house. There's some out there. And they say, well, we want your, we just want your offer. I don't want to list. That's fine. Our premium offer is reserved for those who agree to list with us because it gives us an opportunity. It gives us more opportunity, and we're willing to pay more for a property for that opportunity. But if you just want an offer, you have no intention on listing, I'll give you an offer. It's going to be lower than our premium offer. But if there's nothing in it for me, I'm going to give you a true investor offer, which is honestly, it's probably going to insult you. It's going to be low, just like any other investor in the market. So if you'd like my premium offer, let's go ahead and get the paperwork signed today. And within 72 hours, I'll give you my premium offer. Now, if you need our assurance program, we go ahead and we can determine that right now on the spot, get paperwork signed, and we get that knocked out today. Surely you understand why we don't give premium offers to those who aren't willing to do business with us. Now, you may not be confident enough, or you may not want to be the jerk that I am by saying that. But the truth is, I say it a lot. So on the guaranteed sale program, I've kind of hit on this. I'm not going to spend a lot of time here. If you're just running the guaranteed, a lot of people say, what's the catch? What exactly are you going to pay me for my property? Make this real. Don't pay them 50 cents on the dollar. It's not real. People don't want to deal with that. And you know what? There are tons of investors right now that are sending postcards. They've got SA departments calling. You've got people being bombarded by people who's willing to buy their house for cash. And when they dig into it, they find out that they want it for pennies on the dollar. So when you're offering a guaranteed sale product, make sure it's legit. Don't go out now offer them pennies on the dollar, because word will get out. Make it real, make it palatable. All right, so I think we're at a good point. We're about 10-15 minutes left. I think we're at a great point for questions on the program. Hopefully I've given you enough to trigger some thoughts to get you to where you think, well, maybe I should do this. 100 transactions a year. I broke it because of using these two programs. I broke 500 transactions a year because of these two programs. So I'm an open book. Ask me whatever you want to ask, and I'm going to turn the screen share off.
Lee, that was great. Thank you so much. So we will take some questions, but I have one. I did a version of this way back many, many years ago, and everyone can make their own rules, like you said, right? Those are your rules. That's sort of how you do it. So you don't make your sellers buy from you, right? So if they're staying low, you don't make that a component that they also have to turn around and buy. So yeah, some people with that program have done that. Yeah.
There are people that do make that for me. I wanted it as real and as simple as possible, and maybe my confidence comes across as cocky sometimes, but I feel like if I get you in front of me, I've got you.
Yeah, I love it. From the shy little boy in Mississippi. I love it. I love it. So who has some questions? Anybody have any questions? Because I could keep going with questions, but this was great. Just so good to even be reminded about this program. And such good marketing ideas. Let me ask one other question. You guys be thinking of questions you have. So for agents that are on here that have never heard of this program, never utilized this program ever in their career, maybe they're new agents, how would you recommend that they would get started? You know, once they put their program together, how do they get started in marketing their program, right? And finding, you know, and making their phone ring.
Great question. Everything I do is branded, and it's I have the domain leewillbuyit.com. I started out with soldin79.com, 79 days. I had guaranteed sell ms.com. Lee Will Buy It is the one that I use, that I've migrated to, that I found that works better. You got to walk, you got to crawl before you walk, and walk before you run. I use billboards, television, radio, social media. I use all of the, but everything I do is branded to Lee Will Buy It. And billboards, you know, get your home sold guaranteed, Lee Will Buy It, get a home offer within 72 hours. Everything, I'm promoting that everywhere, because the truth is listings have babies. And if you want buyers, go get you a bunch of listings. So that's why I focus on these two programs to generate leads into my organization. So as a new person starting this, you still got to brand it like you're already there, but make sure you've got the investors or you've got the backing to back it up. Don't go and find an investor that says, oh, I think I'll do that with you. No. Go find an investor that will sign a contract with you and that will give you their bank statement, their proof of funds, that they can back it up. Because the investor is not the one that's going to lose on this deal if they don't. You are. So make sure your I's are dotted, T's are crossed, but you just got to jump in. Don't be, y'all have heard this saying, scared money doesn't make money. You don't become a successful real estate agent being scared. You got to go out there and you got to do it. Start.
Love it.
Can I throw out something, Kathy, real quick? Because I did this program, Lee, for about 15 years, and you know, we haven't needed it the last few years. I mean, you know, your home sold. I mean, it's going to sell in a day, you know, in this crazy market. So it's all changed now. It's changing rapidly here. But I did it. One of the things that I would tell you guys to do, like I had a sign writer I put on all my listings.
Yeah.
You know, I'll buy your home so you can buy this one.
Yep.
You know, and that's something you do. And then I would get calls on that all day long. You know, same kind of thing. Because now I could go to their home and it got me in their door, you know, especially if it's a move up listing. If it's a $200,000 house, probably first time buyer. If it's, you know, 400, 500, whatever, they probably have a home to sell in order to buy this one. So now I can get in the door to go meet them and then apply the conditions of this offer with them. You know, now I get that listing. Same kind of deal. There's multiple ways that you can do this. I had some people, and again, I want to emphasize this is your program. You can put your own conditions in. I had some different conditions than you did. But again, it's like, you know, like we had the thing where they had to be moving up into one of our listings. You know, well, let's say they were moving out of town. Well, it doesn't apply, but here we're still going to be able to use this in reverse fashion. We will buy somebody else's home so they can buy yours. I would still get the listing. You know what I mean? So there were just different ways we could do this thing where, you know, where it really got us more and more business along that way.
Think along the lines of builders too. What do builders hate? They hate contracts that are contingent upon the home sale.
Totally.
Now you just remove that contingency for that builder.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's too why I think the iBuyer in conjunction works so well as, you know, as well. You know, and talking about the sign writers, I mean, it's like, you know, Lee said, everything brand. If you're going to jump in this, you just jump in it and make it your unique selling proposition. So a couple of people have questions.
Mindy has her hand raised. Mindy, can you unmute yourself? Mindy?
Yeah,
there you go.
Thank
there
you.
You go.
Yeah, I had two questions. Lee, were you willing to share your slides with us in the chat or something?
This is recorded, Mindy, so you can go back and, I mean, unless you just want the actual slides, but you'll be able to go back and.
Good to get the scripting. Maybe we can talk to you, Lee, afterwards here. Maybe there's a way you can share it like through Google Drive, and then we could upload a file to our Freedom
Yeah.
Team group.
That's
Yeah, I
great,
was-
because Mindy, you just put me on the spot. I'm like, I'm willing to do it, but I don't know that I can get it done.
Yeah, no worries. I just loved your information. It was very concise, and I took some screenshots along the way, but there was just a couple things I missed. So, that could make a big difference. And then I had another question about billboards. You said you market on billboards. Like, in general, what would you say that costs you out there in Mississippi to have that a monthly billboard fee?
So billboards are very area specific. And by the way, if you're going to do billboards, do not buy one billboard. Do not buy two billboards. If you're going to do billboards, do them in mass. You need to have at least 6+ billboards to make it effective. Otherwise, I think you're wasting your money. 11 billboards for me at a highly discounted rate. Average billboard here is about $2,000 a month. I bought 11 billboards and I really got the rate down, offered a long-term contract. I was getting, they have raised the rates on me, but I was getting 11 boards for $5,200 a month. So maybe I'm good at negotiations. I don't know. But by the way, my email, I'm lee.garland@exprealty.com. That's probably the easiest. lee.garland@exprealty.com. I saw a lot of things in the chat, and ladies, gentlemen, I'm terrible at copying stuff out of the chat and responding to that. I can only do so many things at one time, and my brain's just.
Well, Sean asked a question or made a comment, maybe offer one or the other instead of both to get started. What are your thoughts about that?
So if one or the other to get started, I will tell you and the reason I saved the scripting for last, when you offer both products, it is really, really smooth. And I've learned that I can set more appointments using the script I shared at the end versus offering just the guaranteed sell or the instant offer. Like Jeff was talking about back in the day when we were offering the guaranteed sell program, that was great until the market was so hot that it was going to sell anyway and people didn't need it. But remember, when I first started this conversation 2 years ago, I bought 33 properties because sellers wanted convenience. They didn't want the guarantee, they wanted convenience. And so I do think both products are great products. And my question is, why not offer both? And if you say, well, I can't afford to offer both, remember, go find you some investors that will back you up. I promise you, there's investors in your market that would love to get their hand on a property at 65%. Maybe you don't get a commission on that, but they help you fund your project. So don't be afraid to get outside of the box and get creative.
The marketing that comes out of that is
right,
huge. You know what I mean?
like you said, get one sold as soon as possible. So even if for some reason you don't make the money because your investor bought it, now you've got a whole nother story testimony to be marketing around that program. And so Svetlana asked, have you sold express offer to EXP or your list of investors better? Having the iBuyer program with EXP is a fantastic option, right? Along with a list of investors, which route, has worked better for you? Or are they both just good options?
All of the above.
Yeah.
All of the above. And I forgot, thank you for bringing that up, because we do have express offers.
Yeah.
So you do have the ability to offer that if you're EXP anywhere there in all 50 states. So you can offer that anywhere.
Mhm.
But I would say don't limit yourself. And, if I would tell you, always go local, because those local people are going to feed you forever.
Yeah, that's a good point too. And then she said, you have a contract that you sign with the investors to protect yourself.
Yes.
Yeah. Is that something that you would share? You know, I know a lot of times that's state specific. And as you prefaced earlier, no matter any of this information that Lee is willing to share, we'll put in Freedom Team, but you've got to check with your broker and you need to make sure that they're okay with that because everything is state specific, you know, first of all. So I'm gonna mimic his comment about you've got to run it through your broker and your attorney. You need to check all of that before you start rolling out contracts of your own.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
Mary, you had your hand up. Did your question get answered or do you have a question? Mary?
Well, my question was, I was actually going to email him, but I might as well ask it. Is there specific language that you use for to insert the underwriting or the premium commission into that contract?
Really good question. And on the heels of what Kathy just said, you're going to have to make sure your broker and your state is okay. Some states will not allow it to be separated. It would have to be rolled into just being called a commission. I'm able to call it an underwriting fee because what I do is that premium, that extra money, I literally take it and I put it in a separate account after everything's said and done to help fund my future buys and my marketing. So that extra 3.5% I bring in it has a purpose. It is not, in my mind, it's a commission, but it it funds my program.
That's so good.
Cool.
Well, we're at
Zipporah,
the top. Oh, go ahead, Jeff.
real quick. Zipporah had her hand up. You unmute yourself. Do you have a question?
Good morning. This is good stuff. Lee, do you have the format or a spreadsheet that you just can plug the numbers in as you picking them up, you know, or giving to an investor? Do you use that format as far as a spreadsheet? Can you share?
I do have a spreadsheet for it. I will tell you, I am never happy with it. I'm always tweaking it. And if I share my spreadsheet where you plug numbers in, I'm going to make a huge disclaimer on that because I'm not an Excel spreadsheet whiz. Use at your own risk.
Okay, thank you.
Guys, if anything, can I say, and I'll let you wrap it up, Kathy? Is that cool?
Yeah.
I just want to put out something. I think here's the thing, guys. I think if anything, hopefully this gets you just thinking a little bit, gets the wheels turning. You know, like how do you, again, the whole idea of this and things we learned back with Craig Proctor back in the day, I was with him for 9 years, a USP, a unique selling proposition. How do you make yourself stand out amongst all the realtors out there? Well, I give great service. That's not going to, that'll buy you a cup of coffee at a Starbucks. I mean, it's got to be more than that. We're competing a lot right now. A lot of people, I mean, there's less and less deals. A lot of buyers are kind of pulling back. Let's wait. A lot of sellers are pulling back. Let's wait. There's still people out there that need to move and will do it. But how do you make yourself stand out in the crowd? And I think offering different things like this, guarantees and different kinds of things that you can market with, it's like, it will make the phone ring. And I know when I had the guaranteed sale going, I mean, again, we were doing, we did about 200 homes a year. Whatever our team, we had a small team, about 5 of us, but we had the #1 Keller Williams team here in Colorado Springs for about 5 years. And it was because of this program. It was because of doing things, the guaranteed sale program. We had a guaranteed buyer program. What it makes me think of, Kathy, too, is maybe a future training in the next couple of weeks is to expand on this, in terms of like, what are some different things? Let's mastermind on that. What are some guarantees? What are some USPs that we could all start throwing out in terms of some ideas to make yourself stand out in the crowd? And I think that's what this does. And obviously, Lee, that's worked in a huge way for you. You've become that guy there in Mississippi, and down there where you are. And so anyway.
That's what I was going to say. Even if for whatever reason, this is not your plan, it does nothing more than just get your mind stimulating. How can I be different? Because as agent, we've got to be different, to be able to, separate ourselves from the crowd. So, we're a little bit over time today. Lee, I'll get with you about maybe sharing, whatever you're comfortable sharing. We'll put it in the workplace, in the Freedom Team workplace. So we'll connect on that. And, I'll just say thank you so much. I mean, there's just been amazing comments from everybody in the chat. I mean, how great this was. So, it was fantastic. And I know you're super busy. So we appreciate you just taking some time, putting this together, coming sharing this information with us, and even putting yourself out there. I hope you don't get bombarded with emails, but we'll try to put as much of it in the workplace chat. Everybody will have the recording of this to be able to go back and revisit. And Lee, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me on. I love being here and I love sharing. And yes, I put myself out there, but that's one of the greatest benefits of this organization is the collaboration that goes on amongst agents. I told y'all that it was a small group of people that got me started and pushed me over the top. And if you're not, this organization is great at giving back, and I love it. I love giving back, and I learn every time I do. I've read some of the comments here. Thank you so much for having me, and I look forward to seeing and meeting some of you in person one day.
Yeah.
There you go.
Thank you, Lee. Appreciate you, buddy. Have a great day.
All right.
Thanks, everybody, guys. We'll see you back next Tuesday. Okay, we'll be here. If you're part of Freedom Team, obviously go in the workplace group. There's the calendar, all the different things going on. Concierge hour later today with Kim. We do that twice a week, Tuesday, Thursday. Ask anything you want, real estate related, EXP related, transaction related, anything. Come in there. We're there to help. So just make sure you're on that. If you're not part of EXP and you want some of this material, let us know. We'll definitely get the word out. We'll get the emails to you. We can get the recording to you, whatever we need to do. So appreciate you guys being here. Okay. Thanks, Kathy. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Lee. Have a great week, guys. We'll see you.
Bye.